So remember when I insinuated I was going to do more with this channel? Well, I fucking lied. But considering that we are well into the month of December at this point, I feel kind of obligated to show you all what's been going on here. As I'm sure many of you are aware, I tend to go all out for Christmas, and obviously this year is no different. Now, last year I did a similar video on my main channel, and I was honestly inspired by this person here to do it again this year. Now, the reason I'm doing it over here on this channel is because most of this stuff is mainly LEGO-centric, especially when it comes to the Winter Village display. I love the Winter Village line of sets, despite how inconsistent I've been with it. There's definitely been a couple years where I've missed out on a set or two, and there's also been other years where I have went completely overboard with it. Can you guess what kind of year this is? 2024 was the year that I got back into the Winter Village line in a big way. In total this year I acquired 3 new sets, and the only reason I say acquired is because this one is technically a Christmas gift, and actually could possibly be a total of 4 if the Lord shines upon me a copy of Holiday Main Street, because I didn't pick it up when everyone else had it. I know. I'm an idiot. I used to collect these things semi-consistently. In fact, for a few years it used to be a tradition for me to get one for Christmas, but in the last couple years I just haven't. Now, that's not to say that LEGO hasn't been putting out straight bangers year after year, it's just, honestly, I don't really know. Obviously, I'm trying to make up for it this year, and not just with the sets that I missed out on, but also fixing up some of my older sets as well. Suffice to say, this year's display is not only the biggest, but also the most lively it's ever been. This year I have a lot more room to work with. I haven't really mentioned it directly, but when I got home from DC, I got 2 bookcases to replace the giant fucking chair, which not only makes displaying all this stuff much easier, but also gives me a lot more room to work with. Now, the bottom level here is my comics collection, but above that is what I'm calling the work in progress level. These are the original 2 sets that got me into the Winter Village line in the first place, the 2012 Cottage and the 2013 Market. Obviously, these are both still incomplete, but considering that they were parted out a while ago, to be able to have this much of each of them is truly remarkable. The Cottage in particular, I really wasn't sure how far I was going to get when I started this a few months ago, but wow. Excluding some minor details, all I really need here is the last roof section, and this thing is practically done. I'm definitely going to have to order some parts, some of which LEGO doesn't even make anymore apparently, but come next year this thing will be good as new. Same thing with the carousel, except I'm expecting the cloths and mirror stickers to be a little pricey. I was confident with how far I could get with this one in particular because honestly the piece selection here was much more simple and just not as much in general. With the cottage is the main build, so almost all the pieces are going to that, but with the market, the carousel is a main build, but it also has like 10 other side builds with it. The second level is a little more civilized. It's pretty much the display I had up last year with the firehouse and the Minecraft igloo, but the firehouse will always be special to me because it's literally the only one of these sets that has stayed together since I've gotten it. I can't say the same for the little lake that comes with it, but I think there is a chance I still have all the parts to it. I will say, incorporating the lake does make this stand out a bit more than it was, so that's cool, but the black floor and background of the bookcase doesn't really highlight this display as well as it was up on the shelf, and also everyone else kind of migrated up to the main event, making this display just look a little barren. Again, this isn't fully complete, and I'll continue to mess around with it before Christmas, but at this point, that's where we're at. Now the top level, give me a sec. Alright, unfortunately that does not stretch all the way like I was hoping, but that works. Okay, back to what I was saying. The top level is easily my favorite, and honestly is my favorite display I have ever put together. Obviously you've got the house and lodge as major focal points, but even the small side builds here pull their weight. Whether that be the tree, the gate, the bus, the outhouse, and especially the lake in the middle, all make this world feel very much alive and honestly quite unique. And incorporating the snack stand and shed at either end just adds that little extra. I also made more of a conscious effort to incorporate minifigures that aren't from these sets to make the display feel a bit more alive. You obviously have the bus, but you also have a few cameo appearances from some of the firefighting team, particularly when we look at this scene here on the ice. In fact, when figuring out these displays, I wanted to show a more expanded world using the firefighters. Some are out having fun, others are at the station, and this guy will be making a quick cameo at the train station. Last year I said I wanted to have the train station populated, so I went through my minifigure collection and found a bunch of city and overall just wintry minifigures to populate it. I actually ended up finding way more minifigures than I actually needed, so I decided to liven up some of the other sections of this display, and honestly, it brings a new level of liveliness to every part of it. Back to the train station. Depending on the year, I may or may not have the train around the tree. This year I decided to do it a little differently by incorporating the station as well. It took a few different attempts to get all the tracking right, but I was able to get it, and I actually really like how it turned out. For those of you who came here looking for a tree update, here it is. It's practically the same thing as it was last year, just different ornament placements. Shocker, I know. For the Aidan 548 viewers out there, this year's Mario Kart ornament was Toad, and I also picked up these little guys as well. They were overpriced as fuck, but it's not every day that Pikmin gets this kind of merchandise, merchandise, so I gave in. Call it a little incentive to make Pikmin 5 faster. You're welcome. The only real change this year is that I added another string of lights, and honestly, I'll probably add another one next year. Also, the 2 mini tree placements are the same as they were last year. Zelda went up by the Switch, and the Mario one went right next to the big tree. I should also probably mention that the only reasonable way I got this whole thing to work was doing this weird configuration with the bookcases. Normally they're side by side, but in order for the tree to work, I came up with this. Also, I did buy another Lego Christmas tree that sits at my nightstand with the Statue of Liberty and the giant minifigure, and more comics. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the 2024 Christmas display. Definitely a great improvement upon last year's for sure, although I am planning to incorporate a lot more things into next year's display, as I do have plans for major expansions for this thing. Granted, I don't know where all these expansions are going to go, but I do have them planned out. But yeah, thank you all for watching. We recently hit 100 subscribers on this channel, so if you did like this video or any of the other content on this channel, maybe consider subscribing. Our current goal is to reach 5 million subscribers by, I believe, President's Day weekend. I believe that's the target we're working for. But other than that, again, thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, and I will see you all in the next video, which, let's be honest, will probably be in 2 months. Peace!